Hello and welcome to Blank Park Zoo's Hope for the Wild. Today we are on a journey to discover, connect, and take action for cotton-top tamarins. Cotton-top tamarins are one of the most endangered primates in the world and are only found in the tropical and semi-dry forests of northwest Colombia. Did you know cotton-top tamarins are easily recognizable for their distinct white-colored punk rock crest of hair which stretches from their forehead to the back of their neck? When they're alarmed or excited, this white fur becomes raised in an effort to make themselves look bigger and more impressive. During this program, you will have the opportunity to discover how our conservation partner, Proyecto Tití, works with local communities that live alongside cotton-top tamarins to secure sustainable livelihoods and live in harmony with local wildlife. Blank Park Zoo animal care staff will also provide an opportunity to connect with our resident cotton-top tamarins, Kita, Eddie, Caitlin, and Clark, with a behind-the-scenes look of what it takes to care for cotton-top tamarins. Blank Park Zoo is proud to live our mission to inspire an appreciation of the natural world through conservation, education, research, and recreation. As a member of the Association of Zoos and Aquariums, we work collectively to save animals in the wild from extinction. We hope that you enjoy the program and feel inspired to discover, connect, and take action for the wild.
We have 4 cotton-top tamarins at Blank Park Zoo. We have Eddie, our older male, Kita, our older female, and then we have Caitlin and Clark, who are our offspring of the 2. I'd say the biggest tell when telling them apart is gonna be the hair. So with Eddie, he's got a much more like 80s hairdo. He's really fluffy and his tail's really fluffy versus Kita has a bit more of a slicked back hairdo. Her tail's a lot thinner. And then the twins, I'll be honest, very hard to tell apart, but I would also say Clark is a bit fluffier than Caitlin, so maybe it's kind of taking after mom and dad, but those are gonna be the biggest tells, at least looks wise. So Eddie is very social. Whenever we come in the exhibit, he's the first one to run up and kind of chirp at us and be like, do you have any food for me? Do you have any worms? He's just a very social guy versus Kita is a bit more secluded in the exhibit when you first come in. She'll definitely be more active with the babies. So usually you'll see them as a trio and Eddie might be kind of off doing his own thing, but personality-wise, they're completely opposite. So that is definitely a big tell. So previously in our exhibit, we had a different type of tamarin. We had golden-headed lion tamarins, and once the exhibit did become empty and we sent our female off, we knew we wanted to bring in another type of tamarin species. Cotton-tops are one of the most endangered primates in the world, so we wanted another really important program to be represented at Blank Park Zoo. We got cotton-top tamarins at Blank Park Zoo in April of 2023. That was when they came down from their 2-week period in quarantine. By participating in an SSP program or species survival plan, we are able to work with other zoos and aquariums to kind of provide genetic diversity amongst the species. Caitlin and Clark were born on February 22nd, which is also really cool since Caitlin Clark's number is 22, so it's kind of fitting that they were born that day, and they're twins, a whole bunch of 2s. So by having them here, we can talk about why they're endangered, what risks they face, and then we do work with Proyecto Tití, which is in Colombia, so we can provide that direct connection to a place that provides like physical support in the place that they are from. For a facility to breed and hold cotton-top tamarins is really big for their species. Again, not a lot of people would know even what a cotton-top tamarin is without having them in a zoo facility, especially like Blank Park Zoo. We were really lucky that because they did have offspring so quickly, we're able to really provide those direct educational messages about them and again, connect to our conservation partners in Colombia. I think without having them here or at any facility, honestly, they wouldn't be talked about, which is really unfortunate. It does help that they're very social. They interact with guests a lot, so it gets people to build that connection because they see Eddie, Kita, Caitlin, and Clark interacting with them all the time, and you see guests knowing their names, and so they provide that direct connection. It makes them care about their counterparts, and that's really what's gonna boost their numbers in the end.
Yeah, so today we're doing some cotton-top tamarin care. Yeah, so the reason we wear masks and gloves, it's a PPE sort of protector between us and them, especially the masks. So since they are primates and we are primates. We can share different sicknesses and illnesses pretty easily between each other. So these masks act as just another barrier between the air that we breathe, so that we're potentially not giving them germs and bacteria that would be harmful to them, and we wouldn't be getting germs and bacteria that would be harmful from them to us. This is our enrichment board. It's very nice. Each day is labeled with different categories for enrichment that we like to try and hit with our objects and our tamarins. So, for example, there could be a sensory, which could be used with smells, anything that they can touch or feel. Dietary enrichment is usually something that they don't usually get in their diet. So, for example, they might get blueberries, which is not something they usually get. Natural foraging and manipulation are different ways that they can manipulate objects and get their food instead of just out of a normal feeder. But this board just kind of lays it all out visually for us and is a way that helps us make sure that we're hitting our enrichment goals for them. And then I like to break up their diet a little bit. So we get them in these big chunks like this, and I'll just kind of break it apart with my hands, break them into smaller chunks. This way it's easier for them to eat, especially for the little ones. It's easier for them to kind of grab and hold on to. But this will be full of all sorts of nutrients and minerals and things that they need. And then on top of this in the morning, they get an array of worms. So I have waxworms in here right now, and then I will also add superworms and mealworms that we hold over there. And that'll just be another option for them. And then in the PM, they would get some more gel like this that's got all their nutrients, and then they'd also get an array of fruits and vegetables. It's nice having the options because every single day, these will be placed in a different location than they were the day before. So it mixes it up for these guys, so they're not always coming back to the same places. Putting it here, they've got an option to use this branch, this branch, this branch, and they can still come down from this branch and still all try to get into the cup. So it gives them different options to kind of come in and try to use that item. I think it makes it a little bit more challenging, not really challenging, but a little bit more fun for them. They can kind of problem solve and figure out what works best for them. As opposed to if I was going to just hang it over here on this branch, it would be hanging down low and they would really only have this one branch to go off of, to go in and interact with that enrichment. So yes, they would still be interacting with it, but it also just kind of gives them a one-dimensional chance to get in. Not as complex, let's say.
So cotton-top tamarins are indigenous to Colombia, specifically northwest Colombia, and unfortunately 2/3 of their habitat, which are arboreal forests, have actually been deforested. So that is one of their biggest things that are facing cotton-top tamarins, along with the pet trade. They are not found anywhere else in the world besides northwest Colombia, which is why their numbers have dwindled so much, is because their habitat is only suitable for these certain individuals, and since their forests have been cut, and 2/3 of it had been cut, it's hard for them to find places to live, and so that's why there are only about 2,000 individuals left in the wild, unfortunately. They do have natural predators, most likely, and the things that most likely will predate on them are birds of prey, snakes, and sometimes jaguars. But again, because they're so small and fast, they have really sharp little claws that help them grip the tree branches, so they're really good at climbing. And so they're able to kind of escape their predators using their speed and quickness and able to kind of run through the trees. But their number one predator is humans, and the fact that we're kind of encroaching on their environment and their habitat and kind of destroying their home. So unfortunately, I don't think the natural predators are their number one concern, but they do of course have natural predators as well. So cotton-top tamarins are arboreal and they live in the trees, and so some adaptations that they have to kind of help them live the best they can in the trees is they have their super long tail, which it's not a prehensile tail, so they can't use it to grip the branches, but they kind of use it as a rudder to kind of help them navigate and stay balanced while they're moving through the trees. But they also have really long, sharp claws that kind of help them also grip the tree branches, so when they are moving through the trees, they kind of can stay up because they don't really spend very much time on the ground at all. Even our cotton-top tamarins if they drop food on the ground, they probably won't go down and get it. It'll be have to clean up the next day. And so they use their long claws to kind of go through the trees, look for food, but also just move around. And so they can also be really quick while they're moving around because they can use their claws and also their tail to kind of help them keep balanced.
So our diet is extremely similar to a cotton-top tamarins because they are primates, and then we are also considered primates, so our digestive systems are very similar, our guts are just built really similar, so we're gonna eat a lot of the same things. So in the wild, cotton-top tamarins eat typically insects, but they do eat a mix of fruits and vegetables. So here at Blank Park Zoo, the way that we continue to promote that and make sure that they have a healthy diet, our commissary team gives them a protein-rich diet. It's just primate diet. It's filled with a bunch of their nutrients. Blank Park Zoo works directly with our partners like Proyecto, Tití, and the Not a Pet campaign. A portion of every dollar spent here at Blank Park Zoo is donated directly to those partners. So the Not a Pet campaign is a campaign that works to keep the illegal pet trade from getting more animals in it. So they really work to make sure that these animals are staying in the wild, that we stop organizations from continuing this illegal trade of not just tamarins, but other animals that might be found or other animal byproducts. They work really hard to ensure these animals stay in the wild. One of the biggest things is because they are a wild animal, so they are extremely unpredictable. While we do work with our tamarins and we are able to work to allow them to work with vets, they still are wild and they are allowed to choose what they do, so we don't really have control over what they do. Also, just their care in general. Tamarins require a lot of different foods, a lot of enrichment, a lot of different habitat changes to kind of keep them healthy. And then they also are just critical to their environment. So removing them from their environment is causing a lot of damage, and it is just not a good thing to have them in our homes. So one of the ways that you can help is supporting places like the zoo. We work directly with the Not a Pet campaign, so your visit helps promote that. Another thing is just staying educated on the animals around you, making sure you're doing research about an animal, where it might be coming from, and making sure that you're just educated on this subject and knowing what would make a good pet and what wouldn't make a good pet. Because if you don't know that what you're doing is causing harm, then there's really nothing you can do. So making sure that we continue to educate the local communities and just communities all around helps us continue to protect the cotton-top tamarins, and that's kind of what the Proyecto Tití focuses on, is making sure that their community is educated.
Cotton-top tamarins are part of the zoo's Saving the Wild Conservation Priorities program. This program was developed to connect our community with animals in our care and organizations that protect them in the wild. We are proud to partner with Proyecto Tití to save cotton-top tamarins.
La Fundación Proyecto Tití es una entidad sin ánimo de lucro enfocada en la conservación del tití cabeciblanco, un pequeño primate que únicamente habita en parte del Caribe colombiano, 100% costeño, 100% colombiano, y que está en peligro crítico a causa de la extensiva deforestación de su hábitat y de su caza para el comercio ilegal de especies silvestres como mascotas.
Parece que está comiendo algo.
Está comiendo goma de jobo.
¿Goma de jobo?
Sí, goma de jobo.
Proyecto Tití es un programa integral, ya que no solamente investiga la especie en su medio natural, sino que también trata de abordar la problemática desde diferentes ámbitos. Es así como tenemos un programa de educación ambiental con los niños y los jóvenes para que sepan de la problemática y en el futuro sean nuestros aliados en la defensa de esta especie.
¿Cómo se llama ese animal que está ahí?
Titica besiblanco.
¿Dónde vive el titica besiblanco? ¿En dónde? Muy bien, en el bosque seco tropical.
Parte del cambio fundamental está en las comunidades rurales cercanas al bosque. Por ello, nuestros programas comunitarios se enfocan en generar alternativas de ingresos para estas personas, de manera que no tengan que depender del uso y explotación no sostenible de los recursos del bosque. Proyectos como las ecomochilas, como los titíes de peluche, son proyectos artesanales que ayudan a vincular a las comunidades alrededor de la causa de conservación del tití cabeceblanco, mientras ellos encuentran bienestar y sostenibilidad. Nuestro equipo de biólogos de campo estudian día a día el comportamiento, las interacciones, la reproducción, la dieta y muchos aspectos de la vida diaria del tití cabeciblanco que nos ayudan a entender sus necesidades y a poder garantizar que actuemos en favor de la conservación a largo plazo de esta especie. Me parece que deberíamos reforzar todo el trabajo o ampliar significativamente el trabajo de reforestación y de restauración en el próximo periodo, ¿verdad?
Sí, yo pienso la cosa bien importante con eso, que estamos mostrando que nosotros podemos conectar los parches de bosque a los lugares que tienen más bosque.
Calculamos que ya el 99% del bosque seco tropical ha desaparecido.
Es por ello que desde la Fundación Proyecto Tití sembramos muchos árboles para poder crear nuevos bosques y que esos bosques sirvan para conectar bosques aislados que le den continuidad al hábitat del tití. Trabajamos con los campesinos en las áreas rurales y con ellos hacemos acuerdos de conservación y ayudarlos a usar prácticas amigables con el medio ambiente en la siembra de agricultura y también en la ganadería.
Sí. Esas son las ceibas que vamos a sembrar.
¿Cuántas vamos a sembrar?
5.
Bueno, manos a la obra, vamos a comenzar.
Ya quedó.
Los bosques que estamos restaurando los cercamos con postes hechos con plástico reciclado que se colecta de las comunidades locales, generando ingresos a través del reciclaje, reduciendo la contaminación de ríos y bosques y ayudando a reducir el corte de árboles para ser cercados en estas áreas de conservación.
Francio, aquí tienes los titipostes que te faltaban para la cerca.
Solo vinculando a las comunidades, educando a los jóvenes, haciendo ciencia y protegiendo bosques, vamos a poder garantizar un futuro a largo plazo para el tití cabeciblanco, para este primate 100% costeño, 100% colombiano.
En carnaval se baila así, al ritmo del tití. Depende de ti salvar al tití. También de mí, también de mí, también de mí salvar al tití. Oh, el tití, oh, el tití, tití, oh, el tití,
Oh, hi. I didn't see you there. I was taking a call on my cellular telephone. Did you know that you can get rid of your old and broken handheld electronics here at the Blank Park Zoo? Like these, or whatever this is. We partnered with EcoCell, an organization that recycles handheld electronics. These electronics contain minerals that are mined throughout animal habitats worldwide, creating toxic waste that harms both animals and people.
Recycling them reduces the need for mining, saving animal habitats in the process. So clean out those junk drawers and bring all of your electronic treasures here to the Blank Park Zoo. And you'll be saving the animals like cotton-top tamarins. Not local or interested in hosting your own collection drive? We have a step-by-step guide. We'll send you a shipping label, and all you have to do is drop off your items to your local UPS store.
Looking for ways to show your support for cotton-top tamarin conservation? Check out our bonfire storefront to purchase a t-shirt, sweatshirt, hat, or bag to show your Hope for the Wild pride. Proceeds support our conservation fund, which helps organizations like Proyecto Tití.
We're training our tamarins today. Zoe is back training Eddie, and I train Kita. Ever since she's had babies, she'll usually do her desired behavior, take her food, and run away, and sometimes the babies will take it from her. Target. Good. So successful target behaviors for her is when she puts her nose to the target pole. Sometimes she'll come right up to the target pole and then be about 2 inches away. I don't really reward her for doing the behavior until she touches it with her nose. We try to do a lot of different behaviors to help with medical procedures. We try to target so we can get them to where we want them. Kita's pretty good at a stand behavior, so we can look at her belly and see if there's anything going on there. The amount of time that it takes to train a tamarin to do various behaviors really varies. It varies on the individual, on how enthusiastic they are about training and how motivated they are, and just the different behavior too. Eddie's been pretty consistent. Zoe's moved on to training after all the medical behavior things. She just does some fun things like Eddie knows a spin. So currently we train them with a mixture of waxworms and their PM diet, which contains a lot of different fruits. Their favorite are bananas and grapes. We try to make this training as stress-free as we can. It's a very much a choice for them. If they don't want to come train, then they don't have to. It'll just be a very short session where we try, if Kita doesn't want to train, I'll try to at least keep her occupied if Eddie wants to train and get her out of the way. But it's completely their choice. And they have their back holding they can go to if they don't even want to be around, as you can see now. So yeah, it's their choice. Stand. Good.
Understanding the world around us and finding ways to work together is the first step to save animals and habitats in the wild. We hope that you feel inspired to take action for cotton-top tamarins. We would like to take the opportunity to thank our conservation partner, Proyecto Tití, and our staff and volunteers who work to make sure our mission comes alive every single day. Thank you for coming along on today's journey, and we hope that you'll join us for the next Hope for the Wild Corals.